Mark Consuelos is being open and honest a year after becoming Liv's permanent co-host. On the challenges of co-hosting the long-running midday show with his wife, Kelly Ripa, Consuelos reflected on his first year as a full-fledged co-host of the ABC show during his appearance on the latest episode of Ripa's Let's Talk Off Camera podcast, noting how much simpler things were when he was just filling in occasionally. In the absence of Ryan Searist, Consuelos frequently filled in as host. But when the American Idol host went live last April after 6 years, it made room for Consuelos to take a permanent seat at the desk next to his wife. Consuelos recognized that he lets Ripa run the show, especially when it comes to guest interviews, because he has more responsibility on his shoulders. "I still don't pose a lot of questions," he confessed to the enthusiastic audience. "But that's not true. It's just a mental thing," she comforted her spouse Ripa. Despite his skepticism, the Riverdale star admitted, "I still blunder. Nearly every day I mess something up." He went on to joke that he uses the applause of the crowd to hide his mistakes. As Consuelos pointed out, the challenge multiplied once he had a personal investment in the result. Regarding his move to the ABC show full-time, beginning in 2001 and continuing through 2011, Ripa co-hosted the show with the late Regis Philbin. Michael Strahan succeeded from 2012 to 2016, and Searist will lead from 2017 until 2023. However, the veteran broadcaster is contemplating retirement, so her current stay with Consuelos might be her last. "To me, it seems like a very real possibility." Consuelos discussed Ripa's possible resignation with Entertainment Tonight in September of last year. "For the past 23 years, she has been performing this. I don't think it will happen right now," he said. "Her enthusiasm is contagious, and I can feel it. No one has deserved it more than her when she decides to leave, and I'm having a blast. But eventually, sure." 12 months after officially joining Kelly Ripa in the permanent chair, Mark Consuelos has been unexpectedly forthright about the role's humbling and taxing nature. There is a touch of humor and vulnerability in the tone of his confession. When Consuelos fumbles his lines, he laughs and says he'll just wait for the applause of the audience to save him. Underneath the humor, though, is the sobering truth that presenting prominent live daytime television is an acquired talent, not a natural one. Examining what his experience shows about celebrity marriages, on-air performance, and career pivots, this in-depth look into Consuelos' opinions places them within the show's history. Consuelos was already a familiar presence on the show before she became a mainstay at the live desk. He was a skilled actor who filled in for absent co-hosts on a regular basis, especially during Sarah's tenure, thanks to his roles in All My Children and Riverdale. A performer can pop in periodically as a guest host, soaking in the show's energy without having to worry about preparation the next day. When the cameo becomes the focal point, though, the dynamics change. It was put simply by Consuelos. "It was already difficult before I had any financial stake in the outcome. Because of this change, there is continual pressure to look your best every day." The learning curve occurred in subtle, recurring ways, such as forgetting to ask a question, being off-kilter during an interview, or misinterpreting the atmosphere of a segment, rather than being entertaining in spurts. When broadcast live, those little mistakes can seem much bigger. There are many who face the same challenge as Consuelos. The unique challenges of live TV have long been acknowledged by industry experts. Unlike scripted series, where pace and retakes are commonplace, what happens on morning television is in the here and now. Props should be balanced. Live audience reactions, cues from the producer, and potentially nervous, unprepared, or unexpectedly direct guests. A combination of improv comedy, quick thinking, and emotional intelligence, this performance style can manage a wide range of guests. Working side by side with a lady who had already completed the task made things more challenging for Consuelos. For nearly 2 decades, with decades of hosting under her belt, Kelly Ripa has amassed institutional knowledge, polished her instincts, and developed an inherent sense for how the program flows. The contrast becomes an inherent pressure cooker when compared to someone taking on their first full-time morning work. Thankfully, Consuelos takes a modest approach when it comes to mistakes. He talked about his tendency of making mistakes practically every day and how he uses the applause from his listeners to get over them on the podcast. Being truthful in this way has multiple benefits. To begin with, it humanizes him. Viewers enjoy celebrities who aren't perfect and can laugh at themselves. Second, the pressure associated with mistakes is diminished when the offender publicly admits fault. In most cases, Viewers are more understanding when hosts confess to making mistakes. As a strategic tool for performance, the humor is also effective. A lot of news hosts use self-deprecation as a way to avoid criticism and even make their mistakes funny. In Consuelos' case, the pattern of gaffes followed by amicable bounces gives her the kind of affable, slightly reserved, and sincere personality that works for morning television. While interviewing guests, he typically lets Kelly take the wheel, according to his reflection. Although he acknowledged not asking many questions, he still didn't. Ripa humorously reacted by saying that he was being too hard on himself. No matter what the exact tally is, the relationship is clear. When it comes to Ripa's expertise and experience, Consuelos takes a back seat. For this setup, there is a practical reason. After 22 years of hosting morning TV with a variety of co-hosts, Ripa knows the ins and outs of the industry, including what themes are popular, how to steer an interview back on track when it goes off course, and what questions provide the greatest answers. Consuelos minimizes energy clashes and ensures a smoother passage on air by identifying that skill and letting harvest a steer. Another sign of trust and humility is this dissimilarity. Pride is a problem in many celebrity couples. Conflicting demands for attention, influence, and screen time can derail collaboration. Consuelos puts the quality of the show ahead of his own statistics, as he is prepared to step aside during interviews. Hosting alongside a spouse presents an advantage in the competition, but also presents a logistical challenge. One advantage is that married hosts already have chemistry with their guests. They know each other's histories, joke about in private, and understand each other's timing. Engaging television is often a result of that authenticity. When chemistry is real and not staged, viewers can tell. The possibility for familiarity to transform into friendship, however, is a real occurrence that can arise from similar lives and jobs. It might lose its luster when one's own life is the product. The duo from Ripa Consuelo needs to strike a balance between being realistic and trying not to repeat the same dynamic if they want things to stay interesting. A more well-rounded skill set is yet another perk of collaborating with a spouse. Consuelos brings her acting chops and natural comedic timing to the table, while Ripa brings her interviewing prowess and a refined producer's sensibility. The key to a successful team is recognizing and capitalizing on these complementary strengths. During his 6 years at Ripa, Ryan Searles cultivated a distinct style that was live, polished, contemporary, and centered on a multi-platform media strategy. An experienced newscaster, Searles is known for his unique brand of media ubiquitousness and his indefatigable work ethic. A delicate replacement was necessary after the hole he left in April became apparent. Someone who could keep the show's popularity high while giving it a modern twist. By appointing Consuelos as a permanent co-host, the show took a different turn, became closer and more personal, and was ready to feature marital chemistry as a selling point. This change in focus is not an indication of sloppy production values, but rather a calculated move toward a show where the host's romantic relationship serves as the driving force. Like with any significant lineup change, reactions have been all over the map. The change may have been bemoaned by loyal Sears fans, while some people are getting on board with the trend toward more casual speech because they think it will be good for business and creativity. Is this pair consistently popular? Will there be regular news coverage, social media mentions, and attention from sponsors as a result of the rapport? The evidence points to the Ripa Consuelos coalition being very successful right now. Thanks to their reset, the couple is once again the center of attention for daytime conversation about family, and the show has become more than simply an interview stop. It's a public depiction of a marriage in motion. Additionally, Consuelos brought up a more important topic. After more than 20 years on live television, Ripa is considering retiring. The likelihood of Ripa's retirement was acknowledged by him. Even if it takes some time, the concept is there. This confession raises far-reaching concerns over live and Consuelos' own destiny. How would the show alter if Ripa slowed down or stepped down? Would Consuelo continue in her current role as co-host, go solo, or propose a format change for the show? Many questions still need answering. The possible departure of Ripa represents more than just a shift in personnel. Daytime television would reach a watershed cultural moment, leading to changes in marketing, audience expectations, and production strategies. You can learn a lot about learning on the job from Consuelos' story.